Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back for another recording of Hearthstone. So we have to play 20 minions that cost 2 or, what is that, 5 or more? Interesting, we'll have to do something about that. I think that probably means we can't play any more priest things. But actually, let's play some priest and get Spellmaster done and get the 3 victories we needed done. Then only the mighty is gonna be a bit of a thought. I'm gonna have to figure out which of my decks actually has a bunch of 5 or more minions. I only have in this deck Mookless Champion and Temple Enforcer, so even at its best I could only get 3 plays of those characters.
Anduin versus Illyria.
Tremble before the might of the elves.
We don't see her very often. I guess she's not that popular. And I think that might be the reason why they never came out with their next set of 3 characters, is it's just like nobody wants to pay $10 for a different facade. Or very, very few people do. So if they are actually abandoning that, I'm kind of happy, but now the game is kind of stuck. In a lot of ways, the problems that Hearthstone is now having are exactly the problems that were to be expected, but are also the reasons why most games just go to a sequel. So if Hearthstone 2 came out and they said, in Hearthstone 2 we're not going to have adventures, and we're not going to have different faces you can buy, and we're not going to have these cards, that would be ideally what you would want. Let's see.
My fate is sealed.
Interesting move there. Yeah, and I don't really know how you fix Hearthstone's issues now. I guess you just kind of let it fade in the background, and maybe what you could do is you can say, well, in solo mode going forward, we're not going to
embrace the void.
My fate is sealed.
Well, no, what you do is that in the cell phone mode going forward, we're just going to allow standard play. So you do introduce the standard play versus the wild play. I think it's a painful thing to have to do, but it was probably going to have to happen. And let's see.
Feel my pain.
Job's done.
Oh, that wasn't even the right spider to do that. That was dumb. That was real dumb. And then in the cell phone version, I'd say these characters just look like the other characters, or you maybe even get rid of the hero part altogether, which you kinda could do. Are we back to
Feel my pain.
this? See this.
Are you afraid of
This. I'm not playing great. I can feel it. I can definitely tell that I'm having some bits of trouble there. Not even losing focus, having built up focus. Early in the morning, I want to get this recording session done, it's always a little bit of a struggle to get any extra videos done on a Hearthstone day, and I really need to.
Fine, I'll heal.
Job done.
Despite the fact that I release a ridiculous amount of videos every Monday through Friday, I actually don't do enough work per day. And I don't want to burn myself out and just kind of force myself to play games if I'm in a bad mood or not feeling it or something, because that's not going to help or produce good quality footage. But it is definitely strange.
Fine, I'll want.
That
My
it is
fate is
definitely strange that
Job's done.
I only get like 6 or 7 hours at best on average a day. No, I pretty much do this every single day. Every 2 weeks I'll take maybe most of one day off and not record anything, but it's hardly work 5 days and take 2 days off. It's hardly I keep the weekends on. Today actually is the day of the Super Bowl, but I don't watch handball, as I call it, or football as everyone else in the world calls it.
Embrace the void.
Let's see. Heal, then heal, and then no. This is still damage, and then this damages, and so attack.
Fine, I'll want.
So we play this,
Job's
and
done.
then end the turn. It's kind of pointless to even play that. That was a waste. So today being the Super Bowl might affect who's playing the Hearthstone today. But I don't think it really... Well, last time there was a football game that was pretty big, it did actually seem to help. I don't know particularly why, but for some strange reason, it did seem to
Fine, I'll
make it
want.
easier to win. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose so bad.
Feel my pain.
What could I obviously screwed this up. I could have won this, I'm pretty sure. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure I could have won this. We're trying to get to rank 19, playing rank play. And we're not really doing it, but we're also making progress to level 60. Getting that one character on the list of the max leveled characters would be nice. We've been playing for probably over a year now, and one of my characters was close to rank 60 even before I started recording my playthroughs with the mage, of course.
Your soul shall be mine.
And then we got another character.
Victory.
They were all kind of, I think, at least 30, because I think I had unlocked all the cards before I started. If I had started right like day one of playing Hearthstone, it would have been a little bit more of a struggle. I was listening to somebody else talk about like the changes to Hearthstone and how this was their first step of them getting bored with Hearthstone and ready to put it away. And yeah, if you didn't know that this is what collectible card games do, they ban cards, it's probably a huge thing, and they should have probably announced that as the packs were being released. Let's see. If they had said Nexramus was only going to be available from the day it goes to 2 years after the day it was released, I think that would have bought them so much more. If they had said Goblins vs. Known expansion cards were only going to be available from the day it was for sale to 2 years in the future, that would have bought them a lot of grace for this. And I'm not sure if they planned to do this or not. They could have certainly tried to say we're never gonna ban cards, but they haven't. They've been changing cards. They've tweaked and changed cards before, so to outright ban cards now is only the next logical step. Banning them from standard play, really, though they're not completely banned. No card has specifically been just absolutely unable to play. Instead, it's been changed, which is something you can do on Hearthstone that you can't really do in any real-world collectible card game. I have like no reason to attack that guy.
How many fingers do you see?
So they have a leg up there. Now the question is just gonna be, excuse me while I drink. Yeah, having that drink in front of me is a big distraction. I'm gonna have to hide that from my eyes. It's right in my peripheral vision, and because of that, I'm just very, very tempted to drink it all the time. I'm drinking SodaStreams.
Does this
Drinks
hurt?
some cranberry something or other. SodaStream has raised their prices and lowered their amount of their syrup that is in the bottle. So the price of the bottle went from like $5 to $6, and it holds about half as much syrup. And the amount of syrup is not more concentrated or anything. But it still is slightly cheaper than if you just go buy cans of something in a store. And it's much, much more convenient of buying cans. If you buy even the 25-cent cans that you can sometimes find of a store brand of something, it's still very much
Embrace the void.
a pretty expensive endeavor. There we go, 5 damage.
Shall suffer.
Interesting. I guess that guy had to go. Let's just keep playing. We're still trying to get to rank 19. So yeah, SodaStream is still slightly a better deal. Ideally, you just want to drink water. You don't want syrup of any kind, sugar on your teeth. It eats away at the enamel. It's not good, but training myself to actually drink water has never been successful. I have a sweet tooth, and I want sugar and syrup. And it was so much easier like 200 years ago, before we had really found a way to transport enough sugar into things or make sugar from other things. And so because the people 200 years ago had never tasted sugar, they lived without it and had a lot less dental problems. In fact, there are some skulls of creatures, of humans, humans are creatures, but before sugar was even discovered, and their teeth look perfect. No cavities or anything. And then you compare it to a modern person's teeth, and they have to brush their teeth all the time. They have to go to the dentist. They have cavities. They have fillings. It's ridiculous how bad sugar is for your teeth. And it's not good for your body either. It's way bad. We're just not designed to eat it, yet we are designed to crave it because it tricks our tongues and our brains into tasting like something else that we need. So yes, I need to try and train myself to drink water, but I have a hard time with it. And I always have. I don't actually use the SodaStream carbonator. I don't like carbonated drinks. I've learned in the past few years is that I just don't like the bubble and the carbon of it. I think as we sit here and nothing is happening, this guy's gonna disconnect. I just don't like that. It certainly isn't gonna help anything if I'm burping or gassy while recording. That feels like this guy's gonna try and stall me out. That is not gonna be fun. This feels like this might be a bot. But this kind of bot that's just trying to get this player's rank up, it's not gonna work for very much. Well, he played something at least. I got nothing to play. We both apparently have gotten terrible starting hands. Which is really surprising considering my deck. My deck is an early game deck that is designed to have cards to play. So the fact that I have 7 cards I can't do anything with is ridiculous. Look at that. 8 cards.
Are you afraid of the dark?
So snipe, deal 4 damage to it. It's a shame. I should have played this one, actually. Oh well, it got rid of his snipe. But if I had played this one, and then next turn played the Spawn of Shadows, and then the turn after that played Spawn of Shadows again, we could have ended this a lot faster.
Are you afraid of the dark?
So we assume this is Explosive Trap. So next turn, bring out this guy. If I do that, I can't do this though. So I'll probably just heal this guy and then attack. His best move right now would be to attack here. He is certainly taking forever. So what else is going on? I don't know if I've really watched any TV. I looked at my anime collection and with this whole dialysis thing, I was looking over it and I said, which of these would I not be willing to sit through and watch again? And of this moderately large collection, there's only a couple of TV series that I'd say no, absolutely no to. Otherwise, I'm pretty much okay with watching them all.
In the light.
So that certainly opens the door to that if I'm gonna be stuck with tons of free time. Although I don't want to be stuck with tons of free time, I want to be working. I want to get this schedule a year and ahead so that I can always have at least a year's buffer. I can be thinking about the next year. As far as these old things, I would be so free to play new games next year much like I did the Witness here, which I am totally done with the Witness. Got to 522, beat the challenge. Quite surprised that I actually got that done.
The dam stand ready.
Let's just go ahead and attack this and trigger the explosive trap. Oh man, I guess I should have triggered the explosive trap, then heal. Yep. So 522, I got there was this one color puzzle I couldn't figure out at all. I finally found somebody online that posted the solution. I think the last one is in the challenge area because you run into 2 sets of 3 terminals and the 3 terminals will give you a puzzle. 2 of those are dummies that can't be solved. One of them is the right one that can be solved. And then you solve the right one and it gives you the second set of 3 the second set of 3 puzzles, 2 of which again are dummies, and then the third one is the right one. Well, it turns out that each one of those terminals is their own puzzle as far as they count. So you have to get very lucky and be able to go back and do that several times. We'll take this guy out. So several times you have to do the challenge and get the solution on all 6 of those puzzles to get it to add up. All the other 11 puzzles, unsurprisingly, were in the challenge. So once you beat the challenge, you did have 11 puzzles added to your thing. Oddly enough though, I don't think it counts if you don't do the challenge. Come to think of it, yeah. But at 252 plus but at 522 puzzles plus 135 things, plus the 6 obelisks, plus the 2 endings, you are getting very close, if not at 666. But we know 523 is the maximum. And I bet that right, if I found that last one, that would be 666, the mark of the beast. So, what does that really mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything, like the rest of the game. You really can't interpret the island as hell, or you as the beast, or anything. The island is just some Disneyland, like, maybe it is a virtual reality emotional stress relief thing, but if it was supposed to be a stress relief simulation, then the question really then turns around and becomes, why in the world does the game not doesn't make you do all those puzzles? Because that makes no sense. Ooh, I screwed up there. That's game over for this. I was trying to kill this guy, and I could have done 4 damage to it, then attacked it, and done 3 more damage. It still would have been at 1, and wouldn't have worked. If I had 2 of those, maybe I could have. Yeah, if the island was its own island. There was definitely stuff that in the Witness that I did not cover when I wrapped up that series, and I gave it slight consideration to going back and doing one more episode. every single voice recorder is marked on the lake. Apparently, technically the lake is a map, and every single white lily on there is where a voice recorder is. So if you once you learn that the lake is a smaller representation of the island, you know where all the, in the general area at least, of where all the voice recorders are, and then you can go online and see exact pictures of where they are, and with those two things combined, it's not very difficult to find them. And then there are gold lily flowers that are, I believe, doorways. So when you open up doorways to caves, like the theater doorways, those bloom. No animation as far as I could see of them blooming. I think it just waits for you not to be looking, and usually you're nowhere near the lake when you activate anything like that, so I didn't see any actual animation there. And then there are 6 clams, and each clam opens up when you unlock one of the safes that have the symbols for the theater in them. So I had to actually do the challenge, and that's the reason why I went back and tried the challenge and got it done. It took about an hour of full concentration, but I could have put 10 hours of trying to talk and record at the same time into it, and I wouldn't have ever gotten it done. It would have been very boring. But I am kind of happy about that. I'm trying to get the number of games where I've gotten 100% achievement up on my Steam account, as if that's a real indicator of anything, but it really isn't, but whatever. I want to do it. Just as a matter of stupid pride. And then the water spouts in the fountain are the obelisks, so I believe they probably go higher once the obelisks are completed, which is all. And then the flickering lantern with the statue holding the flickering lantern is actually the mountain, and all the other lanterns that aren't flickering are actually the lasers. So what I kinda wonder there, if I was to guess, is I suspect, let's go ahead and just do this, that there's a certain way you might be able to line up the reflection of all 11 lasers going to the actual mountain, so that it looks like all 11 lasers are going from the lanterns, maybe from the lanterns, or just from anywhere, and lining up on the flickering lantern instead of the mountain. And the reason why I particularly suspect that to be true is because you can
feel my pain.
Something causes the statue that's holding the flickering lantern to very slowly change over time and slowly raise out of the water. And I don't know what in particular that is. If the suspicion is that it's probably an indicator of the time you've spent in game. That would make sense. But that would also mean that somebody would have to just leave the game running for hours and hours and hours. I put several hours into it. At some point, I think it holds both of them. And it might be cool to do that, but I'm not sure. I've already uninstalled the Witness at this point, and I'm not sure I really would want to install it, just leave it running. And you probably have to leave it running and not even paused. Not that there's really any danger of doing that in the Witness. It's not like you're gonna get sniped for being AFK in the Witness. There's no guns, there's no weapons or danger.
In the light's name.
So leaving the game wouldn't really be an issue.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Feel my pain. Face the light.
But, so yeah, at some point in the future, I guess I should think about maybe just leaving it running forever. Jonathan Plow's previous game did have like a 2-hour cloud, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if there was like a 1,000-hour or 100-hour statue. Having now listened to, I assume, all of the voice recordings, I can still completely 100% confirm that there's no real story here. No real story at all. There you go, Spellmaster done. I was trying to play that last spell. Get that quest done. Let's see. Where are we here now? We need to play more cards that cost 5 or more, so we need to look at some of our other decks and just 5 or more. I have 8 there. How many of those are actual characters? Oh, 3, 6 in the Shaman deck. I have 7 here, but 2, 4. Now, no to the mage. I should know this. I should really just know this. 1. And Murloc deck. No to the Paladin. Murloc deck. Warriors. 2 7s. 3. E5. Let's see. 7. 8, 9. Yeah, that's a 9 and a warrior. So warrior's probably what we're gonna play as. 1, 3 there on the pirate deck. So no to the rogue. 2, 4. Nope. No to the hunter. Warlock deck is our mech deck. Let's see. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. No, warriors still got it beat. It's a shame. I might enjoy playing the mech deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So if we play the Warlock, let's just have some fun with the Warlock, even though it is slightly less 5 characters than the Warrior. I want to play the mech deck since effectively we think the mech cards are going out. Now what might be cool here, one way you might be able to fix this issue is that instead of them wasting their time making new animation, which honestly for Blizzard I bet it's not a big deal to make new animations for the same style of cards, but it would be kind of cool if cards that weren't particularly objectionable just made a comeback. So for instance, all of these mech cards, I bet only a couple of them are just awful, and are the actual ones that actually give them that they want to ban. So if they came back and they said, well, we're gonna have these cards that aren't too bad that are mechs, and we're gonna allow them to make a comeback in the next expansion so we can continue playing with those. That would be nice. And if it's the exact same cards, then those cards would still be valid in standard play. Plus, when you open packs, you would still get those same cards, so you just get more dust if you've already collected them, and your collection doesn't become as useless and tiny as it potentially could be with some decks being
Your
banned.
soul shall be mine.
Particularly if you just had like the basic cards and hadn't bought any classic cards. If you just started with like Goblins versus Gnomes expansion and you put all of your gold in the Goblins versus Gnomes, you basically won't have any cards to play at all. So like this target dummy. Is there something wrong with this guy? Does he need to be a 0-1 health with taunt? Maybe. That might be what they need to do, but if in their metagame they say, no, there's no real problem with target dummy, it would be really nice if the next expansion said it includes target dummy. And if they did that with several of them, that would be very nice. If Demolisher, for instance, came back, that would be great. Clockwork Knight Rider is
someone injured?
a grand tournament card, so it's not going anywhere right now.
Job's done.
But it will eventually go away, as all the cards will. And if that's really the case, that the truth of the matter is just to always have a great classic decks, and then turn all your non-classic decks into whatever new expansion gets added into your classic deck, but always have your classic decks built in your mind or in your Hearthstone deck tracker, so that you can start from that beginning when you create your new decks when the next expansion gets banned.
I must consider.
Or if you can just get to the top of the leaderboards, if you can get legendary rank 1 with classic decks in standard, that might very well be the issue too. But I feel like almost all streamers, professional players are just going to almost completely abandon standard. It's a big burden to play them both. It's doubling the amount of rank play you're gonna have to play just to keep everything at rank 20. So, as a not particularly good player, I might play more standard play. We might just go back and forth. Inherently, though, this also opens the door to them doing some really cheesy stuff that I bet they might do. For example, they might start handing out quests to play in standard play, particularly when they start to see that not that many people are going to be playing it. Or they might start handing out quests to play in wild play, but unlikely that they would do that. I suspect this is a multi-step process, and wild play will maybe get eliminated, but probably not. It'll probably just get abandoned so that they're not really going to do anything to it. They're just going to let wild be wild. Depending on how their game is programmed, I guess they don't have to probably do too much programming to make sure new cards work with old cards, as long as the cards do whatever they're supposed to do. Let the at the second instances figure it out. We've seen several occurrences where the card reads one way, but the way the game resolves it, it happens a different way. And they really need to get down to the core of that. What is the order in which cards resolve? What is the order in which things happen? And it seems like it's on the left and works to the right. But some cards actually have abilities that trump other abilities. So I'm left with just kind of a confused look on my face. Let's see. Let's get rid of this one. Kind of amazingly, we're gonna go into a third recording. This will be our last game for this one. If I'd been playing on free play, which I assume that's not going anywhere. It didn't get mentioned, but I could see that they get rid of free play at some point too. Just get rid of the ranking system. Well, not get rid of the ranking system, but make everything be ranked. And so if you want to play free play, you would play standard play from now on. Because, yeah, you really are splitting everything several different ways, aren't you? Discover a mech.
I can fix anything.
Job's done.
There we go. So this one has Wind Fury. Taunt and Divine Shield really wouldn't help with that. Let's see. So next turn is 7. It would be nice if I could play this and then this and give several characters Wind Fury. So a lot of things up in the air, and I imagine it's not going to be as bad as most people assume it's going to be. Or even I assume it's going to be, but yeah, there's some weirdness that's going to happen in the ranked plays. And as long as free play still exists, that's where I'm going to tend to go. This is great. I hope you just walked away. I have this mental image that a lot of players of Hearthstone just have like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and they're just running to the bathroom all the time. But that's probably me. That's probably only me that has that issue. I don't actually have IBS, but I do feel like I'm running to the bathroom quite a lot. You'd be surprised. I think for most people, the difference in which how much you go compared to if you're working in an office and you don't want to actually use those usually dirty bathrooms or packed full. I worked one job that it's like entire floor had 2 bathrooms, and there's probably 300 or 400 people there, and there's like 2 bathrooms, not toilet stalls per se, but they probably had like 6 toilet stalls for the guys and 6 for the girls, and that's it. It probably was not up to code, and it was always packed, and it was very, it led to some more unprofessionality, I think. Just when you're just packed in there. And then, of course, I worked at a different job where I worked at a different job where the building was effectively empty, and so there was like 3 floors of entire sections of the building that were were off limits to you, but if we could have used those bathrooms, it would have been rather nice. But and they actually yelled at me because I would go down to the basement and I'd be like, yeah, I'll just go use this one. There's nobody down here, and apparently the cleaning crew ran into me at one point in there, and I don't make messes of bathrooms, but I use them, so I guess they do get dirty, and maybe the cleaning crew was trying to save themselves some work by never cleaning that one. But yeah, that was ridiculous. It was like a 7-story building, and our department at its most had like 400 people maybe, and I would guess between all the other offices they had less than 50. So you're like 450 people for a 7-story building. Everything above the second floor was basically closed off and never used, as far as I could tell. Maybe it was used and they just lied to us and told us it wasn't. I wouldn't put that past them, that job at all, for them to lie.
Right on time.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is there any way to turn this thing around? No. Let's see. We could do something like this. We can do this. We can do this. And get rid of that. And that's the best play we can do. And we still lose. Of course we lose. Look at this. 30-4. Ideally, if you have a choice in a job, you want to find, I don't know why I'm talking about toilet things, but I guess it goes to show that the jobs were not that, what you were actually doing at the job wasn't that important to me, as it should be, really. If you care about your job, that's actually more of a problem, because then you'll just run into all your coworkers that don't care about the job. So try to assimilate and not care about the job. But in general, you want to try and find, if you can find one that's not used that much, and try to get some privacy, get away from all the stresses of your day. Of course, now as a YouTuber, the only stresses of my day are things I put on myself, such as not working hard enough or trying to play games I'm not that interested in, such as You Don't Know Jack, which I still don't know what I'm doing with that. But I do know what I'm doing right now. That's going to be it for this recording. We're going to come back and play some more of this, I guess. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.